Hello, my name is Dr. Trace Bishop, and our topic today is to discuss what is Lean Six Sigma. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, there are many different competing definitions when trying to determine just what Lean Six Sigma is. One popular opinion is that it's a process improvement methodology. And yes, it is a process improvement methodology. Another school of thought will say that it is a management philosophy, and yes, it is a management philosophy. It is one of the most popular management philosophies and process management methodologies the world has ever seen. So yes, those two are true. Another popular definition of Lean Six Sigma comes from our more mathematically oriented friends. And what they say is that Lean Six Sigma is, let's go ahead and write here. So Six Sigma, that is our sigma level, is equal to 3.4 DPMO. And what that means is for every 1 million opportunities, we only have 3.4 defects in our process. That is equal to a yield of 99.9997%. So we get good product from our system, defect-free product, 99.9997% of the time. Now, interestingly enough, when we look at a source like Quality Digest, they estimate that the typical small to medium-sized enterprise is currently operating at a 2 to 3 sigma level. So if we take that data and we just aim for the middle of that range and we call our sigma level 2.5 sigma, that is equal to a DPMO of 158,000. That means for every million opportunities, we have 158,000 defects in our process. And that equates to a yield of 84.2%. And what that means for business owners is that we are leaving a lot of money on the table. So yes, a statistical definition, that is certainly something that Lean Six Sigma is. Others, especially people from the outside, look at Lean Six Sigma and say, hey, it's just a belt system. Well, it's not just a belt system, but there is a belt system involved, very similar to many of the martial arts that you'll find out there, that as you progress in your knowledge, in your training, as your belt gets darker in color, the more knowledge you have. So in Lean Six Sigma, one can start out with a white belt, progress to a yellow, green, black belt, and then kind of at the top is the master black belt. But I really think that when I take a high-level view of what Lean Six Sigma is, I think it is all of those things. But more simplistically, the way I like to think about Lean Six Sigma is it is a proven way to improve how things are done by making your process faster, more efficient, and with fewer mistakes. Let's jump into a little bit of history here. So Lean Six Sigma is built on the solid foundation of two previous methodologies. The first one, Lean, focuses on streamlining processes to eliminate unnecessary steps and reduce waste. So the key term here is reduce waste. And again, this methodology was first built in the 1950s. It was called the Toyota Production System, and it was built in Toyota in that time period. Now, Six Sigma was built separately from that, and its focus was kind of more of a statistical nature. And it focused on identifying and reducing defects and variation in a process. So the key term here is variation. And it was developed by Motorola in the 1980s. Now, in the early 2000s, folks combined these two methodologies because they were very complementary of each other. Again, Lean focused on reducing waste and Six Sigma on reducing variation. So the goal of the overall process was to create more efficient processes that produce higher quality results with minimal waste. How exactly does this get done? Well, Lean Six Sigma uses a very specific set of tools to overall identify and define problems with processes. They collect, analyze data to determine the root cause. Then they develop and implement solutions to address the root cause, and then measure progress and evaluate the effectiveness of the solutions. And finally, this is a cyclical process. You're always trying to continuously improve processes to achieve better results. Two key points here is that this isn't done in a vacuum. When you're doing a Lean Six Sigma project, you will need a team, number one, and then number two is to make sure that as you're going through the structured problem-solving methodology, that it is data focused. It is not based on opinion. So again, the key takeaway here is that this methodology and set of tools can be applied in virtually any industry to drive performance. So if we're talking about aerospace and defense, any manufacturing industry, we could talk about service industries such as hospitals or financial services. The options really are very, very varied, and there are many out there. To discuss the structured problem-solving process a little bit more, to give you an idea of the frameworks that we use in Lean and Six Sigma. And I'm not going to go into extreme detail here. I'll do that in a separate video. But when we talk about Lean, it's really a 5-step process. And the first thing that you want to do is determine the value from the customer's perspective. Be sure that the customer is the focus of all that you do. Secondly, you map the value stream for your product or service. Then you make sure that you can create flow through that process. And where you can't flow, you pull the product or service along. And then again, this is a cyclical service, so we always want to be pursuing perfection. In Six Sigma is similar, but a little bit different. So what we use here is something that is called DMAIC. So DMAIC comes from the first letter of each one of these words here. So first, define. So what we want to do there is define the exact problem that we want to solve. Second, measure. We want to collect data and determine if we can trust the data for this project. Next, in analyze, we determine the root cause of the problems. And improve, we implement solutions to address the root cause. And then in control, we sustain the gains that we developed in the improve phase. So these are two of the problem-solving methodologies that were combined for Lean Six Sigma. So a couple of examples here. There are many different examples that we could talk about, but here kind of at a high level, just wanted to see like in a simple, really simple example here, like a restaurant. What could Lean Six Sigma be used for in a restaurant? Well, one possible thing that we could do is we could reduce the amount of time it takes to prepare meals. That way, but typically in a restaurant, revenue is generated by selling meals. So if you can reduce the amount of time that you prepare the meal, then you could potentially sell more meals and increase the revenue for the operation. Conversely, we could eliminate waste by only ordering the necessary ingredients for the meals that we cook at our restaurant. Too many times we order way more than what we need based on a variety of issues or of different types of reasons for doing that, such as bulk buys or something like that. Also, we could increase customer satisfaction by improving the consistency of our meals. So that's reducing the variation in the product or service that we offer our restaurant patrons. Another example would be in a hospital. Well, something we could use there is we could increase customer satisfaction by reducing the overall waiting time in the emergency room. We could also reduce medical errors by identifying and addressing the root causes of those medical errors, such as miscommunication among staff or incorrect dosages that we give to our patients. Alternatively, we could optimize the use of resources, whether they be human resources or material resources. So these are a few examples that we could use for a Lean Six Sigma project. So summary, Lean Six Sigma is a very popular and proven process improvement methodology that can have a significant impact on your business. It was created in the early 2000s by merging Lean, which is again reducing waste, and Six Sigma, which was reducing variation in our processes. The way I like to think about this in simplistic terms is that all it really is a way to improve how things are done by making the process faster, more efficient, and with fewer mistakes. Okay, if you'd like to learn more, please follow me here on LinkedIn and stay tuned. Our website is being built. Again, my name is Dr. Trace Bishop, and thank you.